colleagues should have two separate sets of two-page items. We are proposing 4 amendments to the budget. I won't read them in detail. I'll just try to give you a brief overview. 15.01 involves the Neighborhood Speed Cushion Program. It proposes transferring $750,000 to that line item of the CIP to allow for funding for additional neighborhood speed cushion to be put into neighborhoods across the city. The line item currently has $250,000 attributed to it. There is a waiting list of 60 neighborhoods. At that rate, I'm very concerned that most of these neighborhoods will be waiting a very long time. This may be a two-part process in relationship to a CIP amendment as well. The secondary amendment is, and all of the amendments have a funding source. The secondary amendment is 15.02, the creation of a deed restriction database. In many ways, this is a parallel discussion to my colleagues Noriega's amendment 3.03, and in some instances they're kind of bookend discussions. It provides for the process of creating a deed restriction database for the city's use, and provides for allocating up to $1 million from the appropriate funds for that process. 15.03 calls for the creation of a flood control mitigation property registry. I offer that, and you will notice that the motion is we. I understand that Councilmember Green will be joining me in making that motion, so it will ultimately be a joint motion. The concept behind this registry is the idea of identifying properties in flood control or flood prone areas that might in the long term be helpful to be transitioned to flood control related mitigation properties, and therefore at least put those properties on a registry. It does not begin to allocate monies for the purchase or acquisition of those properties. It merely creates the registry at this point in time, and it is in response to Councilmember Green and I's constituents that have asked us to move forward on that issue. Finally, the last amendment, which is on a secondary 2 pages, you were first handed page 1 and has recently been handed page 2. I'm sorry for any inconvenience on that. It is I will be moving the creation of a Clean It or Green It tax credit. In short, what that would do would be the creation of the tax credit to be applicable to ad valorem taxes on commercial and residential properties located inside the city limits or the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the city as appropriate, for the purposes of providing a financial incentive for the demolition of abandoned, dangerous, or dilapidated buildings to create tracts of land that are ready for future redevelopment or for use in flood control mitigation purposes. All of these amendments have a funding source, and we reserve the right to continue to look for other funding sources just in case it's needed. Mayor, I respectfully move all of those 4 amendments.
Is this the second?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Second page to your
yes, ma'am.
supplement.
I apologize for the inconvenience. We had missed it from the first time.
Okay, the administration has received amendments 15.01 through 15.04.